Welcome back to Stonkanachi, and today we're going to be covering the S&P 500 as well as these lists of stocks right here. And so if that sounds like something you're interested in and you like technical analysis, please subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what you would like me to cover in the next video. And so taking a look at the S&P 500, which a lot of time does make moves and everything kind of follows it. So as you can see, we're down 0.45% today, and saying there's some inflation news. So no surprise there. Everybody knows about inflation. So, and yeah, on the 3-week, we're getting pretty toppy, but we do have support on our moving averages right here on the RSI. So, there is some stuff going its way, but then when you look at the weekly time frame on the S&P, the zero volatility right here is really going to push out a big move, and last time it was to the downside, and the time before that it did break out to the upside. So either way, we could be looking at a big move pretty soon in the S&P. And when you jump down to the 3-day, we've lost the RSI right here, and so if you lose RSI with low volatility, that is where the big moves can go down. And then if you jump down to the 6-hour, we are losing it. So the other big mover for this week is going to be Tesla. And when you jump out to the higher time frames like the weekly, we lost support and we've lost the RSI. And so could we see her come on down to 290? It's a real possibility. And so if we look at the 2-day, again, it looks like followed through on the volatility on the 2-day. And then if we jump down to the 6-hour, it's looking like we could be looking at a bottom on the 6-hour right here. But, and it is where it's rebounded in the past right here. So, but if we go back and look, this is the time where if it does fail here, we could be seeing a big drawdown. And so, and if we go back even further, like right here, did pop it back up, and then a huge drawdown. So, this is kind of the point where it's going to have to make its mind up. Is it going to pop back up for a rebound, or is it going to follow on through? And so that's kind of what I'm thinking where we're at right here. But we did just get a fresh 2-hour RSI cross with support underneath it, so could pop back up to 340 and still be bearish. And the last time that we got the 55-200 death cross was right here, and it did push it down a little bit lower. So could this be the top in Tesla for right now? It's hard to say, but I would be thinking if we got the 6-hour cross that it could push it all the way back up to at least 350. And then the next thing to watch for me is going to be Bitcoin. And so if I can find Bitcoin here, I'm going to try to organize these. So if we bring this up, we can organize it to the top, and then we'll check out Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. And as you can see, the last time that the volatility crossed to the upside, there was a big move up, and then the time before that, a big move down, and then the one before that, a big move up, and then right here got a big move down, which this was a 40% move back in the day in October I believe, is when this happened. So, well, February. Okay, I was wrong. It was this one that was October. Yeah, right here. But anyway, so yeah, definitely something to keep our eye on is the volatility. So if we did cross to the upside right here and RSI did fall over, could be a big pullback down to at least 40K, or, probably not lower than 15K. So somewhere in this zone is what I'm thinking. And if we jump down to the weekly, we do have low volatility again, and the same things are kind of lining up with all the stocks. So definitely time to be cautious. And then if we jump down to the 6 hour, we are looking like maybe more downside. So in the 1 hour, saying a little bit of bullish divergence. So could pop it back up to around 96 and still remain bearish. And so up next, we will take a look at Ethereum. And Ethereum, again, looking more of the same, not looking good on the monthly. And then when we jump down to the weekly, we're getting some volatility crossing to the upside as it's going down. And so, if we're looking at it here, we already wicked down to 2100. And if we go back to the weekly time frame, if we do get volatility crossing down right here, this was already a low of 870, so we could definitely go down to at least 870 or lower pretty soon, I think. So with that being said, we will now take a look at the Bitcoin futures chart, which does give a little bit of a different perspective on things. And so looking at the daily, we are going down. And as you can see, the 6 hours saying extreme reads of low volatility. And so we know a big move's coming. Is it up or down? Hard to say, but time will definitely tell. And then one of the better stocks going right now is going to be Costco. And Costco did have a little bit of bearish divergence on the 6 hour, looking at it right here. And so if we get down to the lower time frames, it is looking like it could pop back up right here. So we'll see what happens. The 1 hour is about to push back up. And definitely looking like maybe sideways. Now that I look at the 12 hour, maybe go sideways for a few days right here. And then Walmart looking like it could keep going to the upside, and this has been one of the more bullish charts this cycle. And so we are about to get a fresh 6 hour in it. And then we could look at Coinbase. Low volatility on the 6 hour, so could see a move down, but this is a time in the markets that it could go either way, and this isn't financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes and to look at the charts. And so if we take a look at gold, on the daily, putting in a little bit of bearish divergence. And if we jump down to the 6 hour, we did lose the RSI, so we could be pulling back a little bit to 260 in gold. And Robinhood, looks like we got earnings coming in. Let's see. yeah, earnings today in Robinhood. So look for a big move breaking out of earnings in Robinhood. And looking at it before earnings, it's looking like a potential earnings beat based off the 2-hour read, but you really can't judge earnings based off technical analysis, which is what we're doing here. And looking at Apple stock on the weekly, not getting much here. Maybe we can put on our other indicators. Let's see. Yep. So looking at Apple, we'll check out the monthly time frame. So we are losing momentum on Apple with bearish divergence on the momentum wave. So probably not going to go up too much more in Apple, and even more bearish divergence. So 2 drives on 2 different indicators of bearish divergence right here. So probably do get a little bit of follow through down to 190 over time. And then Meta stock on the weekly time frame is again looking like it could put in bearish divergence right here, and so it is looking like it could potentially top out soon based off of that read. And so if we look at NASDAQ, and this is one of those kind of like the S&P 500 that this just kind of gives you a general feel for the market, and over time basically goes up and to the right, which is what you want to see. And looking at the weekly, we had a drive of bearish divergence right here and a nice pullback, and now we're getting a little bit of hidden bullish divergence from way back there. So usually when something like that happens, maybe sideways, and that's what we're getting right here, some sideways price action. And so if we jump down to the 6-hour, we had triple bearish divergence and double bearish divergence on 2 oscillators. So are getting a pullback off of that. And we'll take a look at QQQ. And we'll start out on the monthly. So looking at the monthly, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bearish divergence. And we got sideways off of it, and now we have bearish divergence on both oscillators. So you would expect this one to come on down to at least 496 over time. And the daily is also looking like it could come on down to at least 500. So probably do pull back in this one a little bit. And Disney stock, I just kind of put this one on here to see if we were rotating through the markets. And yeah, this one doesn't do a whole lot, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And check out Visa stock, looking like a little bit of bearish divergence potentially forming on the monthly. And oh boy, if we go to the weekly time frame, again working on some bearish divergence on the weekly, and the daily time frame is losing momentum to the downside. So we do have support resistance around 320 in Visa. And the 6 hours also looking like we're going down. So definitely keep an eye on the S&P 500, as it is probably the most popular stock out there, and for good reason. It goes to the upside a lot, which is what you want. And going all the way back to the dinosaurs is the very beginning. That's cool that TradingView puts a dinosaur. But anyway, it's going all the way back to let's see, this is 1875, I believe. Yeah. And so if we go way back in time on the monthly time frame, did it put in a little bit of bearish divergence right here before an insane pullback? Like, oh my goodness. I hope this never happens again, but can you imagine a 84% pullback in the S&P 500? That is very wild. So yeah, people usually think that that only happens in crypto, but if you go back in the history enough, you can find to where it does happen in regular stocks as well. So definitely something to keep your eye on, is that you can lose your whole investment. Doesn't matter the stock you trade. So, not financial advice, but that's the reality of the stock market. And so, yeah, the daily has got bearish divergence right here, and we're in a rising wedge pattern. And so I am looking for a pullback to around 5,700 or a 5% correction. And, from where we're at, it'd be 5.18%. So, and this will kind of line up with most stocks that we're looking at. And so we'll jump back and look at Tesla. So Tesla's moving right now off of, the lower time frames, like the 1 hour, and we have bullish divergence forming. And so we are looking like we could pop back up to around 350 in Tesla. Let's definitely keep an eye on that one. And then Google, we are looking at, on the weekly time frame, bearish divergence on the momentum wave. So, could we go down to 160 in Google? It's looking like a potential. And I think it'd be a good time to jump back to Bitcoin, or, we could look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA looking like 3 drives of bearish divergence on 2 different oscillators, and we're getting the pullback and a potential rebound off of it already. So, and looking at the daily, not much to judge off of this. So yeah, I don't feel too strongly about NVIDIA. Could go up or down. And Shopify also had this pattern drawn in right here, but could we move it on up to right here? Not really. It would be more like something like this. So little bit of a upsloping channel in Shopify, so probably does pull back to the bottom at 72. And we do have daily bearish divergence, so at least probably 84 and maybe all the way down to 65. And then we will jump back to Bitcoin. And so on the monthly, like we said, we're close to some bearish divergence right here on the monthly time frame. And if we put on regular candles, not quite. But from this low to this low, let's look at it. And so, bearish divergence on the monthly time frame from way back. So I do think it's going to be a hard pullback when it does pull back. And same thing on the 2-week time frame, which doesn't really matter when you switch it. And looking at the daily, we got this pattern drawn in right here. And so she is going down for now. And is it going to break down out of this? Time will tell. And so right now it's kind of looking like this. Yeah, not much to see for real. Yep. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the technical analysis, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Thank you for watching.